Hi YouTube. Today I want to share how I use lambda expressions in emacs Lisp. The way I do this may not be correct. If anyone knows a better solution, please write it below. Um, so as someone who has experience with Python and Scheme programming languages, I struggled a little bit to find out how to actually use lambdas in Emacs Lisp because the way it is implemented was not obvious, at least for me. So, how do I use lambda expressions in Emacs? Let's open Emacs Lisp repo and define some function which will accept 3 arguments. And we'll return some of these arguments. And I will write the same logic several times for all arguments. Let's, for example, increase the argument by 2, then multiply it by 10, and I don't know, if we multiply it by 10, then we obviously can divide it by 5. So I can take it and repeat several times, and I will use that's common case for writing functions when you have some kind of logic which you want to apply to your input data and return result of all of this. So let's test that it actually works. Yeah, I think it works. So we have some logic which we would love to simplify. In these cases, we usually write a separate function which will be used to simplify this, which is okay. But the problem is when you write a library in Emacs Lisp for, I don't know, automating your tasks, you do not really want to have a lot of publicly available functions for different reasons. So in other languages which I used before, like Python or Scheme, if I want some kind of logic available privately inside of some function, and I do not want to create a separate publicly available function, in these cases, usually we use lambda expressions because they are very handy in these cases. So what is lambda function? Lambda is basically a function without a name, something like lambda x. So what is it? It's a function which accepts something and returns it. This function has no name, and what we can do, we can define a variable. I don't know, test lambda, and assign it this lambda expression. That's the way it works in Scheme programming language. So we have test lambda, And the way it works in Scheme is I can just type test lambda and, I don't know, send 5, for example. And in Scheme programming language, this will work this way. In emacs Lisp, it does not. Why? Main reason is because emacs Lisp has two separate namespaces for variable names and function names. So when I use define, when I define a function, I put the name of function I defined in functions namespace. When I use def var or set q, I put the name of variable in another namespace of variables. So we have a variable which has a lambda expression. How we can call it? Actually, there is an interesting function which called funco, which basically evaluates first argument as a function. So what we can do in this case, put the name of lambda, in my case this is test lambda, and arguments for this lambda. And I made a mistake. Where? Right. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, I noticed I made a mistake. So yeah, funco with two L's. And it works. It evaluated this name as a function name and pasted this argument. So let's return to our test function. What we can do here to simplify all of this is let's let local variable, which will be, I don't know, let's call it local logic. And this will be lambda, which will accept something, let's call it arg, and it will return this. Ouch. This will return this. I will erase it. So yeah, we have this local logic, and using this logic we can do the same. We can return the sum of three arguments passed to this logic. And if we run it, we got the same answer as before. So this is the way I define lambda functions in emacs Lisp to simplify logic of my different functions which I use to automate my editing process. I hope this will be useful to anyone. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.